Before we start with the official questions that we've set out, we'd like to ask you one very fundamental political question, and that is, where did you get your shoes from?
Oh, well, actually I bought them online and they're German.
Ah, right, that's good. Glad to hear that. It's what we need to do on the 38th.
It's a company called Paul Green and they manufacture in Germany.
Oh, brilliant. Well, it seems to be the most political debate that seems to be going on about Theresa May's shoes. So I thought
Right.
I'd better ask you.
They happen to be extremely comfortable.
Oh,
Yes.
right, which is great for going out
Absolutely,
and
yes.
All right, so we'll go back to the official questions.
Right.
Why did you become a politician?
Well, in 2003, you will remember that there was a whole debate about the Iraq War, and I was a member of the Liberal Democrats, but I hadn't been very active up till then. And really, when Blair decided to go into Iraq, I felt it was time that I stood up and was counted amongst the million who marched in London. And then I thought, well, you know what, I can do more than that. I can become a parliamentary candidate and really take the message out there that we do not agree with what the Labour Party is doing. And it kind of developed from there.
Fabulous. There's good reason to become a politician.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself as European?
Absolutely. I lived in Italy for quite a long time. I went there straight out of, well, I went there actually straight out of school for a year. I went to Italy after I left university and I worked there for a while. In fact, I met my husband there. And we came back to England, and I've been running a company from here, from Charlbury, where I live, for the past 25 years, which is based in Eastern Europe. So I spent a lot of time in the early days travelling around Eastern Europe, getting to know it. And I still work in Romania. So yes, I consider myself to be a European, absolutely. My business depends on it.
Oh, well, glad to hear. I think a lot of businesses do depend on European cooperation, and I think that's one of the key things that seems to have come out since the 23rd.
Absolutely.
Going back to the 23rd, how did you vote?
I voted to remain. No
Because-
question. Oh, because, I mean, for all the reasons that I've just stated, to do with the fact that I feel myself to be completely European. I certainly don't want us to be exiting the single market. I think that would be a disaster for businesses. There are many businesses that rely on being able to export and import from the EU. And because, well, I just believe in us being part of a bigger union and not Little Britain. That's very important to me. We really objected to Mrs May saying that if you were a citizen of the world, you were a citizen of nowhere. Because I do consider myself to be a citizen of the world.
Absolutely.
And the world starts, as far as I'm concerned, with Europe.
Absolutely. And I take it your position hasn't changed since the 23rd?
Oh, absolutely not. In fact, if anything, I would say it's hardened because, well, I was deeply, deeply disappointed by the outcome of the referendum. In fact, I wept a few tears because it just seemed to me that we were walking into the unknown.
Absolutely. It was a very big shock, I think, the
Huge
next
shock.
day.
Yes.
And I was walking around London and it was really, I think we just seemed to be shell-shocked.
Absolutely, yes. And most of my friends, actually, I went to a party on the night of the referendum with a bunch of people, and almost everybody at that party were people voting to remain. And when the results started to come through that evening and it looked like things were not going to go that way, everybody was absolutely devastated. They could not believe that that was what was happening. So, yes, it was a tremendous shock, and I seriously regret also that David Cameron decided to resign immediately. I think that was a big mistake on his part.
Now, 52% of the voting population who've actually voted did vote for leave.
Yes.
Do you think that's an advisory leave, or definitely let's go?
Well, I've come across a number of different reasons that people have given me for voting leave. I encountered a woman in Whitney not long ago, a few days ago, who was talking to me about the fact that she had voted to leave because she believed that bringing lawmaking back into this country and giving Parliament sovereignty was the right thing to do. But she was utterly shocked by what Theresa May and particularly Amber Rudd was saying during the Conservative Party conference. What they were saying was that, basically, we do not want to be part of the single market. We do not want migrants here. I think the Conservative Party are being very disingenuous about migrants. She was shocked by all of those things, and was really upset that her vote had been taken advantage of in that way.
It was a bit of a shock to, I think, to everybody. Do you think it's sufficient to trigger Article 50, or do you think something else should happen?
Well, I think it's actually wrong that we should trigger Article 50 before we have a plan. And, you know, we've only got 2 years to put that plan in place once it's triggered. I also think it's entirely wrong that government is that Parliament is not going to be given a vote on whatever Theresa May comes back from Brussels with. First of all, she's an unelected Prime Minister. She has not got a mandate. Whatever she may like to think, the vote on the 23rd of June did not give her a mandate to do. It didn't give her carte blanche. She did not get a mandate to do what she chooses. It's really important that Parliament has a say, and we as the Liberal Democrats will be fighting tooth and nail to make sure that Parliament does have a say over whatever Mrs May comes back with, because I don't trust those 3 Brexiteers to understand very much at all about what is being negotiated. I'm quite sure they're going to come back with something which is going to be very bad for us. We need to be able to stand up and make the point that we need to stay in the single market, and if that means that we have to make a compromise on some of the other issues that they're going to be negotiating, then so be it, because the most important thing is the economy.
So the handling of, you don't think the handling of what's going on at the moment by the government is any good?
I think, I'm not even sure what they are doing, frankly.
Yes.
I mean, it's very unclear that anything much is going on right now. I'm told by those who know that it may look like chaos on the outside, but it's even worse on the inside. They just don't have a plan. We are in the hands of people who don't have a plan and who don't understand what the consequences of leaving the single market might be.
Absolutely. And now that when you wake up on the 21st and you're voted in as this constituency's candidate, what are you going to do from that point?
Well, the first thing I will do is be working with the parliamentary party, the Liberal Democrats in Parliament, and hopefully with others of like mind in some of the other parties, to ensure that we do force a vote on Brexit in Parliament. The other thing also, Mrs May has got to get the Great Repeal Bill through Parliament. That is not going to be an easy call. And not only will some of her backbenchers, I believe, rebel against that, because some of them definitely are closer to our way of thinking than her way of thinking, but also when it comes to the Lords, I don't think the Lords are going to let her get away with it. So it's things like that that I will be working on right from the start.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And say it doesn't happen, we don't want it to, we're all rooting for you on the 48 plus.
Thank you.
But say on the Monday, on the Friday, you wake up and you're not the candidate. What's next?
Well, what's next as far as I'm concerned is I will continue to campaign as a Liberal Democrat, and I will continue to campaign all the things that I've told you about. But I will also continue to campaign to win a council seat next May, a county council seat, and to make sure that what the momentum that we've gained in this constituency during this election campaign isn't wasted, and that we continue to fight other seats, because there will be other seats that come up, and I hope that the result that we get here will support other seats and help our activists to want to go forward and win other seats if we don't win this one.
Well, thank you so much for speaking to us today. It's been brilliant meeting you, and thank you, and I wish you all the luck.
Thank you so much, and thank you for coming up to Whitney today.
That's okay. Thank you very much.